If you want to support our podcast financially, please visit patreon.com/IIMBSB. Also, email us with questions or ideas at ifimaypodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode, we weigh in on a couple of entries from the relationship advice subreddit having to do with friendship tensions around dating. Then you'll hear as we ask our friend Mike Hammond, who is an actor, theater director, and teacher, to tell the story of his first kiss.
Welcome to If I May Be So Bold, a podcast about relationships.
The ones we have with others, the one we have with ourselves.
And given that Dan and I are a couple, you're going to be hearing about our relationship too.
I'm Dan Epstein, a recording artist, former opera singer, and relational coach.
I'm Justin Waring Crane, a therapist, recovering perfectionist, and karaoke star. Should we dive right in?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, so the title is...
I'll read the title.
You have the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
My best friend, 23 male, doesn't want me, 22 male, to date his girlfriend's 23 female best friend, 23 female. So to outline that, because it's confusing as hell, our protagonist is 22. He has a best friend.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
It's just that age. It's so funny.
I think a lot, I mean this one and the other one from the relationships subreddit. I feel like that's the age range.
It's weird though, how it's like, how it'll share, the relativity of age all shifts up. It's like the way I hear like 22-year-old man right now is like how I used to hear like 13-year-old man, boy. Right. It's like the same feeling almost.
Yeah. Right. As being 36.
Yeah.
Now when you hear 22, you're like, that's a 13-year-old to my 20-year-old self. It's
self-protective maybe to think that way, but...
What do you mean?
Because it's like, if I think about a 23-year-old man as like a grown up, as like a grown man, it makes me so old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's save that.
On.
Let's save that. And starting over, just to review, our protagonist is 22, male. He has a best friend who's 23, male, who has a girlfriend who's 23, female. And she has a best friend that our protagonist is interested in dating.
Right.
And his best friend does not want him to pursue a relationship with his girlfriend's best friend.
Okay.
So here is our story. My best friend voiced his concern about me pursuing this girl. This girl being
the friend
of his best friend's friend. I feel like, is this confusing?
No.
I hope people understand.
I think it's totally understandable.
Okay. He fears that it might affect the dynamics of the relationship between his girlfriend and her best friend.
Oh.
While he claims he's not trying to tell me what to do, he suggests this is a door I shouldn't open, and I'm being selfish because I'm ignoring the fact, in quotes, that this will cause people who care about me pain. I have good intentions with this girl, and we get along quite well, though we are still in very early stages of dating. Okay, so they're already dating.
Yeah.
Early stages.
Yep.
The thing that struck me the most was how he said that if me pursuing this girl causes things to spiral between his girlfriend and her best friend, and his girlfriend ends up losing her best friend, or their relationship changes for the worst, he would hold it against me and it would affect our friendship.
God, I love this.
I told him I found it unfair to threaten our friendship just because I decide to get to know a person I might consider pursuing a relationship with. So now we've gone from they're in the early stages of dating to this is a person I might consider pursuing a relationship with and I want to get to know them better.
Wait.
Okay. No. I was just saying, like, he said they were in the early stages of dating and now he's saying he's just wants to get to know her better to see.
No. I think, wait, now I am confused.
Okay.
The early stage of relationship is the friend, right?
Is the protagonist and the best friend of his best friend's
they are
girlfriend.
dating. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Anyway, he says, it's unfair of me to not consider the hurt I might cause to the people around me and that I, in quotes, like always, am putting my own happiness before the happiness of others.
Oh boy.
There's the nugget that we needed.
Like always.
I find it disappointing he sees things this way, and frankly, I don't understand the logic behind the horrible outcomes he describes, i.e., the relationship between his girlfriend and her best friend shattering and therefore negatively impacting the dynamics of our friendship group. And especially that he would hold me accountable just because I decide to continue down that path of getting to know her better. It eats at me that my best friend has this perspective of me, and I'm not sure whether he values the friendship as much as I do at this point.
Right.
Am I totally blindsided by the fact that I like this girl? I think he means blinded. I don't think what I'm doing is wrong, nor that I should take responsibility for what should happen between this girl and her best friend. Any advice is welcome. Thank you for reading.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Any questions so far? Is it all making sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, my first thought is there's something about that, like trying to push the control button as the friend, you know, being like, don't do this, because it never ever works. No one is ever like, oh, I have a really strong attraction, like chemistry with this person, but I'm just gonna like not see where it goes.
Bingo.
Never, ever.
It's actually at that age, I would say it's a good way to make sure that they do pursue the relationship. Because now we have the layer of the forbidden, which is super sexy.
Right. And I kind of love that. It's like, it's cool that attraction and excitement are so untamable in that way.
Yes.
What
do we think this relation? He keeps referring to him as his best friend,
and to her as this girl.
Yeah,
that's how we used to talk in high school too. Like this girl, this dude. It was like a way to act like nothing was too important to you or something. You know,
like seeming casual.
Yeah, like you would even say it about like close friends. Like you could be talking about your best friend and be like, this fool Derek or whatever, you know? Yeah.
Is it a way to sort of put down?
No, I think it's a way to be invulnerable, to like project like an image of nothing's that important to me. You know, that's vulnerable to have things be like, to matter. My best friend, my dear cherished friend. It's like the opposite of that, you know? It's like generationally.
Right. This bitch. I wonder, what do you think about, so we had that nugget in sort of, there's always this like one line, I think in any letter like this that has like the sort of, that's where like the meat of the issue is. And it says, he said, my best friend says I always do this, that I always put my happiness before the happiness of others. So I wonder what that is about.
One theory is perhaps there's a dynamic between the two guys that's like the protagonist, quote unquote, is like just kind of like goes through women, you know, like dates a lot.
Maybe he's a player.
Yeah. And maybe there's a power dynamic there where the friend is like, you can date anybody you want. Like, why? Like this, that, you know, the one person who could screw this up for me, you know, it also seems disingenuous for the friend to be like, they have a great friendship and I just would hate to see that something happened to that.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah. And like as an older person, you're just like, come on. Like you probably won't all be friends.
You're
like,
trying
in like
to make
3 years.
yourself seem like this like really altruistic
magnanimous
person. Yeah. And it's like, you have a self-interest here that you're not voicing, it seems like.
I love it. I love that like quality of like a young adult being so like righteous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's hard, and I just want to send our protagonist compassion here.
Which of these in this foursome, which one would you have been?
Probably the protagonist.
Oh, really? The one dating and other people are trying to stop you from dating?
Yeah.
You want to say more?
No. I mean, no, I know, like, I feel like I've had an experience like that in my life before of like, just feeling like I should get to do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. And like, and regardless of like what the impact could be for other people. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that this is what our protagonist is doing, but that just, it reminds me of that version of myself. That's like kind of throwing caution to the wind, not wanting to be super intentional. And who knows like how this guy approached the situation. If he was like, hey, like came to his best friend and his best friend's girlfriend was like, I'm really interested in Stacy or whatever. Yeah. And I know I'm assuming it could be kind of weird, but like, how do you guys feel about that? And like, just sort of like open, not saying like, if you guys think I shouldn't, I won't, but being like, I just want to like, tell you guys that. I'm doubting that happened because he's 22.
No, I'm sure that didn't happen.
Yeah. He was probably like, he probably did.
Her friend's hot.
He started dating her without telling them. Yeah. And then he's like, oh yeah, like we're like sort of like seeing each other. And then they're like, what?
Yeah.
Which I get it. I get being a little miffed about that. Hope they work it out.
Also, I wonder how the friend initially voiced his concern. Like I guess he sort of described it in this, but like, how would you, say this was your situation and your best friend is kind of reckless with like dating. And you like just saw this was like a clear path where this was going to end badly and like cause drama.
I think you can never know how things are going to end.
Well, sure. I know. But if like your instinct was telling you,
I think you can voice concern. Be like,
how would you do it?
I'm worried about, I've seen the way you treat women and I'm worried about you hurting this person. Because this is also not just my girlfriend's best friend, but
he
my
didn't even
friend.
say that.
No, I'm just saying that's what I would say.
No, but he didn't even say he's worried about you hurting it. He was worried about.
Oh, yeah.
So like also the other thing we haven't talked about is what is the dynamic between the two women?
Sure.
It sounds really combustible.
Here's what is like now like fireworks in my brain right now.
Go ahead.
Is like the misogyny inherent with this. I've found it. Mm-hmm. And weirdly, it took me a while.
You're like a gold digger.
We have now these two men, right? These two, we'll put men in very loose quotes. We have these two men basically negotiating about who gets to date who. And like the voices of the women completely absent, right?
Right.
Who knows what they want? Who knows where they stand on this?
Right.
It doesn't seem like it even matters. It seems like us bros are going to figure out like what to do about this. And like the women are just like, nowhere to be found.
We have to play this role for them.
Yeah. So that to me is the biggest issue here.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I said gold digger, I meant gold miner because we were just in gold rush country. And that's
having such a hard time focusing on what you're saying because I just like, I'm so blown away by this. But it's like, it doesn't even matter. It seems like it doesn't even matter what the women want.
Totally.
It's like, doesn't even matter. That's irrelevant to this.
Right. And the idea that they're all 23 and the two guys are the ones like seeing themselves as, or like, especially this
The
one, I guess,
arbiters of
as being like, of like how to preserve and nurture relationships.
Yeah.
It's pretty lols.
So can you go back to now that I'm ready to focus, the thing you said about when I said gold digger, I meant gold miner.
Yeah.
Totally missed that.
Because it's so not important, but just that you were mining for gold. You were mining for the misogyny.
Yeah.
But then I called you a gold digger, which means something totally different.
What if it did mean that? She's a gold digger.
I'm not saying she's a gold miner. Okay, this one is called I may need to have a sit down with best friend, female 21, and boyfriend, male 23.
Whose boyfriend? Her best friend's boyfriend?
We're going to find out.
Okay.
Over the weekend, my boyfriend, 23, of 5 years, and best friend, female 21, and I, female 21, rented a little cottage to hang out together. Long story short, my best friend is a beautiful girl and she is very comfortable in her skin. The entire time she was wearing very revealing clothes. She was wearing booty shorts that literally were like the size of boy shirt underwear.
I cannot even contain myself.
Wearing little crop top shirts with no bras. I, as her best friend of 10 years, know that she had always been like this and she wears things like this, even if it's just girls. But I could tell that my boyfriend was getting a little uncomfortable. I didn't see his eyes wonder. She said wondering, but I think she means wandering. More poetic though. Yeah. Wondering.
What were his eyes wondering about?
I didn't see his eyes wandering or anything as such. I love that she's using like such high level language.
She's writing her dissertation.
I didn't see his eyes wandering or anything as such, but I feel as if I do know him and can read his body language. I don't know if next time I should say something to her or even have him stand up and say something to her. I don't know how to approach the situation. It's been on my mind for a while too. My boyfriend and I haven't had a conversation about it either. Wow.
Okay.
Seems like a lot of communication's not happening.
Yeah. So little communication is happening. So many assumptions are being made. There is, not surprisingly, misogyny happening here. Adorable little threesome. I'm
just laughing looking at these comments. Like some of the suggestions are so funny.
Let's wait on those.
All right.
But so yeah, what strikes me about our Reddit family here is that no communication is happening. She actually doesn't know if this made her boyfriend uncomfortable at all. I'm not saying she doesn't know him, like she said, and can't read his body language, but we have no confirmation that this guy is uncomfortable in the situation.
But also, it's not about him being uncomfortable.
Correct.
Right? That seems like it's a placeholder for something else.
Correct. Actually, she's projecting that discomfort that she feels onto her boyfriend.
Which actually is probably more fear than discomfort, right?
It's fear. Yeah, it's fear that her boyfriend is going to be attracted to her best friend. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely that. It's not being said. And of course that feels scary. It's like anybody, it's like in like at that age or at any age, you don't like your body a lot of the time. There's going to be things you don't like about your body. You're always going to be comparing yourself to your female friends, especially your best girlfriend and their body, and how, if you're hetero, I guess, how men are looking at their body compared to yours. And there's a ton of insecurity and fear that comes up around that. So, and the way that like we've been trained to compete for male attention.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's like she could talk to her boyfriend and say, wow, I noticed that I was getting really uncomfortable this past weekend because of, the outfits that I'll say Stacy again. Stacy was wearing, and it made me feel uncomfortable. Like it made me feel insecure.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like there's maybe something that's not being said could be, are you wearing these outfits because you want to draw his attention?
I mean, interesting.
It sounds like, I mean, maybe I'm projecting, but don't you,
maybe she wants to ask
like
that of her friend
is part of this?
Well, she did say that this is how she dresses across the board.
That's true.
So not to say that that couldn't be part of this, but in any case, this isn't a very safe feeling situation. Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah. And I just want to say it's not her best friend's fault at all. And she does not need to have a sit down with her. She needs to have a sit down with her boyfriend.
And it's like, I remember talking about this on the episode we had Emily on, of like, this is sort of setting forth, well, there's rules that like, you don't wear certain things. We all agree these are the rules, don't dress like a slut.
Yeah.
Like if you want to dress like a fucking slut,
right.
like, of course this is going to happen.
Right. What did you expect?
As opposed to, oh, I'm having these feelings of fear and I'm feeling unsafe because of my programming and my relationship situation.
Bingo. Okay.
I want to hear some of the comments.
Let's hear these. Let's hear these fucking idiots.
One person, Carla Way, says 8 hours ago, this was, just avoid going on trips with her. Do a girls' weekend or a BFGF trip. No reason to combine them.
Wow.
There's it. There's the solve. Yeah. Easy peasy.
Just do that, idiot.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wow.
This is Soph Lurk.
What's Flirk?
Soph _Lurk _ 2018. This is just the person's name on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
4 hours ago. Sounds like a you problem. You know how your friend dresses. You chose to go on vacation with her and your BF. She was wearing crop tops and short shorts. Did you expect her to cover up more on vacation? If anything, people tend to wear less clothes on vacation. Just don't combine travel with them again since it makes you uncomfortable.
Wow.
A lot of
surface level answers.
Let's avoid all the things that could actually lead to closeness and like good conflict.
Right.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you man. Yeah. Okay, one more. Beachy 5313. This was yesterday. Is it bad that I'm reading their names? I guess it doesn't matter. It's their handle.
Their handle, yeah.
I'm going to put this as nice as I can.
This person's about to drag.
Do not shame your friend. You knew how she dressed. She didn't start parading around naked or doing anything new. So you really don't have anything to talk to her about. She's living her life and you want to shame her for how she normally dresses. She has done nothing wrong. And if you don't like how your boyfriend reacts to her, keep your boyfriend away from her and find some women who are ashamed of their bodies.
Oh my God.
Or just wear more clothes. Poor girl probably thought she was safe with friends and now you want to make her self-conscious? Don't do it. The best you're getting is an awkward friendship where she can't feel comfortable around you because you feel the need to police her clothes. Worst, she tells you to stop trying to slut shame her and F off.
Find friends who are ashamed of their bodies.
I'm so glad this person posted on here because she's getting great at relationship advice.
Oh my God. We're asking guests this season if they'll tell us about their first kiss. So whatever you would be willing to share about your first kiss story.
Yeah, it can be as specific or general. Yeah, as you like.
Oof. Okay. I have two. Okay, my first kiss was actually a stage kiss.
Okay.
So that's why I preface it as both and. But I was in 8th grade or somewhere between 8th grade and 9th grade.
Wait, is this the stage kiss or is this?
This is the stage kiss. But we were doing The Music Man.
Hey.
I was playing Harold Hill.
Hell yeah.
And there's a big kiss, like at the end of the show, between Harold and Marion.
I love that in the script, it's like big kiss.
Yep. For
I
sure.
also want to say that I was in that musical.
Wow.
And I don't really remember what part I was. I was so young. Okay, continue.
And I remember that we never practiced it. So the first time it happened was on stage, like for our first show.
I mean, I just want to say that's so method. I don't even know if I'm using that term correctly, but it's like that's generating, the energy of we've never done this before.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah.
Was there a reason it was never practiced?
Because you guys were nervous?
Yeah. I think because the
I'm just imagining you guys in rehearsal, and it's like, and
yeah,
then that's the point that we're okay,
yeah,
but we're not going to do it right now.
We'll definitely do it when it's real.
Well, I mean, I think that was. I think back to like the more I've directed as an adult, and especially now that I'm kind of like a teacher, I'm like, oh my goodness, how. Yes, I completely understand what the directors did in the moment of being like, yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We don't want to make you uncomfortable in the moment, but also like, wait, no, time out. Like this is something we have to at least agree and talk about. I don't know. It was, but it was directed by two very nice but very like women in their 70s, and they were of a certain upbringing that I think.
Proper.
Let's not like, and they had done enough of these shows where I'm sure that like, it had been awkward and uncomfortable. So they just avoided that moment. So nope, we'll deal with it later.
I mean, I guess better than the opposite where they're like, yes, and now the kiss.
Right.
Yes. I think that probably would have made me retreat even further into
I love this. This is such a good story.
How did you feel about the person you were to kiss?
Oh yeah.
Great question. I can't say I liked working with her for sure. But I wouldn't say that there was like a
chemistry.
Yeah. Or like an immediate attraction or like, I feel like in that moment or like a crush.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, like I like being like, I'm so glad you're my opposite and we get to do so many scenes, but I don't have butterflies on my stomach or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But however, I think that she felt differently.
I mean, of course,
as evidenced by the kiss, where I'm pretty sure I like stood so straight, kept my arms by my sides, and this woman like enveloped me, both arms, like wide open mouth. Lots of energy, and it was very to the point where like after the show people would come up to me and they're like, oh my goodness, great job, Mike, nice kiss. I was like, oh no, that was
so you're interpreting that as like maybe she was more into it than you.
And I think I don't think it was an assumption beforehand, but I think that like she asked me on a date after the show, okay. And then like we went on another date, the beginning of our 9th grade year.
Okay.
So I think it was feelings that perhaps she was expressing, but definitely don't want to assume, but there was more.
No, it sounds like you have evidence then, because like so at first my thought was. Maybe she was so nervous that she just like forced herself to like go like whole hog, Which
yes, 100 like similar, like how anxiety expresses itself in all of us is quite fascinating. So
one time when I was in opera school, I was in this operetta, and I was like one of the like bigger characters, and there's a scene where like all these like girl characters. Have to like change my clothes, and they like circle around me and they like change my clothes. And on one of the shows, like this one girl, I still remember her, Alyssa, she like was so like overzealous that she straight up pantsed me. Like when my back was to the audience.
Jerked me off really quick.
Wow.
I just like grabbed my pants so fast.
Aw. Wait, they were changing you on stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still kind of feel like she meant to do it, but I'll have to ask.
And
we'll have to have her on.
her
Yeah.
We'll have to
be on.
Yeah. She's the next guest.
So wait, was your mouth kind of closed and her mouth was like gaping? Okay. Very, very
it was definitely like, because I think I was pretty prepared to just sort of like, kind of like, kiss, count to 3, and then separate.
Yeah. Mouth stays closed.
That's why you rehearsed.
Nose to nose. Yeah.
That's what we rehearsed.
Yeah. Iconic.
But I think I'm pretty grateful for that experience, among many experiences that I am grateful for, women leading the way. But the idea of like, this is how you can express yourself if you want to show interest, show anxiety, show exuberance, show emotion. I don't know. It was just,
This is how you can express yourself, meaning like how she approached the
how
kiss?
she wanted to kiss me.
Yeah.
Versus how I wanted to kiss her. Because I think I usually start from a smaller place.
Yeah, like more cautious.
Just as a person in most things. But
and a Pisces, right?
And I think this leads into the first kiss.
Here we go.
Which happened that fall at a birthday party at a library.
Ooh, hot.
And
birthday at a library.
There were lots of 10th and 9th graders were invited. And this 10th grader pulled me outside in the middle of the dance. And similarly, whether I don't know what prompted it, but it was a similar like exuberance of physicality.
That's the theme.
Of which, since I was like, had done it only a couple months earlier, I was like, okay, this is how you do it. So then I dove back in and was like, all right, like this is how you kiss.
You matched.
Yeah. I definitely matched. I tried to be creative. I was like, oh, you're doing this. Like maybe I'll do this with my tongue.
Yes. And so you were into this person.
Yes. This person I definitely had a crush on.
Nice.
So that was kind of like a fun extra part of it to be like, ooh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And that was, I definitely remember that one lasting for long. It's like, not like it's a kiss, but I don't know, veering towards a makeout session. I don't know.
Yeah. What happened after that? Did you guys date?
Did we? No dating.
Oh.
No, just like a one-off, some like, some casual chats and hangs at school, but
okay.
It was a very
interesting
special moment
of the moment.
I wonder why you guys didn't try to date. Do you have any ideas about that?
I was pretty shy, so I probably didn't give off any like elaborate signals that I was interested in that.
You didn't like pursue.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this was gonna date. Didn't have a cell phone, so it was like either you express that energy at school or you call them on the phone, and I was not a phone caller.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that. But I mean, funny enough, she is like a great friend.
To this day.
And is a great family friend, and like my whole family knows her family very well, and so it's very funny that our circles have stayed.
Oh yeah,
together, and
amazing.
So
I wonder if she thinks about that kiss a lot.
I hope not.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us. Our music is by Nightlight. We self-produce this podcast, so please subscribe, rate, and review. It really helps.